Alright, we're gonna do the LED installation for this bike. We're gonna install the SMD 5050, which are very bright LEDs, and they're very easy to install. First of all, the first thing you have to do is find where the battery is. You know, usually they're over here, but this bike doesn't have it over here, so it's under the tank. So we go in there. We're not gonna work with that right now. We're gonna do it later. But it will be. I'm not gonna work with the power right now because I have a power supply, so I can test the LEDs. And but if you don't have a power supply, you need to get to the battery before you start working, so you can test your LEDs. So you can have that ready before you. If you're gonna solder, if you crimp anything, or you do any wire hookup, after that you test it, so you can see if the LED works, so the installation is right. Once you find the battery, we're gonna decide how we're going to install the LEDs. In this case, this kit has 6 strips, has one foot strip. They have 3 6-inch strips, and it has 2 inches strips, which means the 12-inch strip I'm gonna install it down here on the bottom, and the 6 inches is gonna go right here, and another 6 inches over here, and another 6 inches on the other side, and the actually it's 4 inches, but we cut it 2 inches, so I'm gonna install it here. You're gonna see that at the end. The next thing is working wire. If you buy the whole kit, you're gonna have enough wire to install the LEDs. So the next thing is to cut the wire and see how you're gonna install that. You're gonna start from the front and towards the back. That way you can start. You hook up the 2 LEDs in the front, and then you hook up the next 2 to the wire that's running to the back, so you don't have to run different wires. You don't have to install them in parallel, but it's good that if you go and install all the LEDs to one wire that is going to run to your battery. In this case, this is going to run to here. So this is our first 2 LEDs. This is going to go in the front, and this is the wire I'm going to use. This wire is long enough for me to install these 2 here and run it to the body. In my case, my installation is going to be a little bit different, because all the wires are going to run to the middle of the bike, so I don't have to run a long wire from here to here, and all the LEDs connected to it. All the LEDs connected to it. So this is going to be easy, because it's going to be easy connection, but it's going to be a little bit more work to do in hiding the wires holes. All the wires are going to be here or on the back, and so you're going to have to work on it. If you're going to solder, this is one thing I do. Once these LEDs are already connected, the wires, these LEDs are already connected, and the only thing I need to do is solder them or crimp them or put any terminal that I'm going to use. I'm going to get closer now. Okay, like I said, once I do the connection, to make sure which one is positive, which one is negative, I always do this, and I recommend you to do it. This is negative because it has the lines, white lines. Yours might be black and red, so it's going to be easier. But if it's white or black or whatever color you buy of wire, this is positive, and I do this. So if I have different wires running through the bike, I will know at the end to connect this to the positive and this to the negative. So I don't have to be testing everything all over again to find out which one is negative and which one is positive. Like I said, this is a 12 inches LED. You can go ahead and test it on the bike, on the battery, and if you have a power supply, just do it on the power supply, which I have it over there, and I already tested, so I'm just gonna do this. This is another thing you can do if you wanted to. Let me show you this. Okay, if you're gonna solder, make sure you isolate these wires. You can use heat shrink, or you can use electric tape, which whatever you have available. I prefer heat shrink, a little bit more work to do, but and this is easier and it's good. It's the same thing. Just the heat shrink is more of a clean job, you know. But anyway, if you solder this, I'm gonna solder this. You're not gonna see that, but I'm gonna solder this and then put heat shrink. Another way you can do, and it's easier too, and I have it on the kit, is use these terminals. I like these terminals. I use these terminals a lot, and they're usually gonna be, for this kit, are gonna be red. And these terminals are called bullet terminals. See, you put this right here. But if you're using terminals, make sure, I don't know, maybe you're gonna have white or black, I don't know. I mean white, blue or red. There is standard size. This size is for around 14-16 gauges. The red is around 18 to 22 gauges of wire. This is 14, so the red is gonna work better on this wire. This wire is 24 gauges, so the red is gonna work better. But if you're gonna be installing, like putting like 3 or 4 wires on the same wire, it's gonna be good if you use a blue, which is between 14 and 16 gauges, and the yellow one is between the 10 and 12 gauges, I think. And there is another yellow one that is in between 14, 16 too. But you might find this in different sizes. You know, this you might find it the blue one in 18, 22. But the standard size is that. If you buy red, it's gonna be 18, 22 gauges. If you buy blue, it's gonna be 14, 16 gauges, something like that. If you buy yellow, it's gonna be 10 to 12 gauges, and that means the thickness of the wire. You know, this is around 18 gauges, because it has all these wires, about 20, 18 maybe. But the only one wire is 24 gauges. So anyway, if you use this, I will prefer to put the terminal in and somehow solder them, and you're gonna have a quick connection, you see, right here. But if you cannot solder them, make sure when you crimp it, do it right, like very tight, very solid, because this, if it's loose, your bike is gonna be vibrating a lot. So you don't want this to be loose and cause any damage, any fire, because it's gonna get on fire. If this is loose and start vibrating and doing sparks, it will mess things up. So make sure you do it right. You crimp it tight and test it and check it if it's solid and not moving at all. And if you're using terminals, be very, very sure to install a fuse in it. Okay, solder is more secure, so it's always good to install a fuse. But if it's terminals, or if you only like doing this, very tight, very, very tight. And I really don't recommend you just do this and put tape on it, because it cause damage things. So use a wire nut and make sure it's very tight if you don't want to use these quick connectors. And well, that's it. Okay, we have these two. We're gonna install it on the front, and like I said, you're not gonna see that. The other thing you can do is use this. This is Velcro, and what I do is I cut a little piece of it. Well, it's two pieces actually, you know. It's the front and the back. So I cut a piece on it, I stick it on it. Well, I take this off, and I take this off because it has glue too. Stick it on it, and you know, the other part that goes up here, I put it on the bike, and it's easier to go back and take the LEDs off. And the Velcro is very durable, and it stays on place. Well, it depends what brand you buy. So buy a good Velcro, and that way you don't have to install the LEDs or glue the LEDs. It's gonna be permanent. It's gonna be, you're gonna be able to take the LED off the bike if you, in case you need to change the LED, or maybe you're gonna change colors or whatever, you know. So it's easier. You can do that. You can buy this in any Home Depot, Radio Shack. Home Depot has it cheaper and has different brands. So use this.